Now, then, the first proper topic for today is got to be Company of Heroes 3. And we'll touch a little bit on a couple other RTSs as well, and a little bit around that. But Company of Heroes 3, if you could, Kyle, bring up the Steam store page for it, showing the whole alpha thing.
Yep, I've got
So,
it.
there was an announcement where they were like all teasy like, oh, look at this, it's a 24-hour countdown. We're Relic, and we think that you're all idiots. So people were like, is it DLC? No, no monkeys. Of course it's not DLC. And it did indeed turn out to be a kind of mediocre trailer, followed by a Company of Heroes 3 logo splash screen, confirming that yes, Company of Heroes 3 is a thing. Which again, both excites and scares me to no end.
hmm We both have played the pre-alpha, so we already have made our thoughts on the game. Honestly, there's not much to it. I only put an hour into it. And if you played Company Heroes, it clicks. You're like, okay, it's just Company Heroes again. Not really
Yeah,
different.
it's weird. Like the trailers and the launches for both COH1 was legendary. Like when that appeared, it rocked the entire PC world. Like it was unbelievable. And graphically too. Like COH1 was unparalleled in terms of graphics. Nobody thought RTSs could.
Yeah.
Nobody had thought about the cover mechanics, and I even remember a bloody article in like one of those PC gaming rags that were around back then, which were like, these tanks are actual tanks, and shooting them with rifles won't hurt them. And I remember being like, oh my god, really? You can't kill tanks with small arms fire? How revolutionary!
I miss my veteran GIs guarding the bridge in Red Alert 2. Eliminating rhinos at the cross. I'm like, get out of here. Get
Yeah.
out.
You just fill the bridge with GIs behind sandbags. They gun down the charging Russian tanks.
Yeah, if only it worked like that in real life. Now, I did bring up a picture just now. This is a picture, we had a conversation in our Super Squeaker chat with our friends, and Carlos had put this together. In this picture, on the left-hand side, we have Company Heroes 1, in the middle we have Company Heroes 2, and on the right we have Company Heroes 3. So you can get a little bit of an idea of the visual thing, because we actually had some complaints about the visual aesthetic of the game. And you'll notice that some people falsely say that Company Heroes 3 has more color. It doesn't. It's actually
No.
desaturated. In fact, Company Heroes 2 is the most saturated when it came to the color.
It looks like it has more color because it's really washed out and really bright. So the color just kind of glares out at you. Um, if you go to Steam again, Carl, and you find the screenshot of the like GIs fighting in the bushes in like an area of brush. Let me see if I
Nighttime or
can.
daytime?
Daytime. It's the second to last
Oh,
picture.
yeah. There's a GI with a flamethrower, yeah.
Yes, like you can open that in full screen and look at the guys down to the bottom left, right? The
Yep.
guy with the grease gun there. His helmet is almost the exact same shade as the foliage behind him. Like he's illuminated. And it's actually genuinely difficult to see the guy because of how bright he is. Like he's wearing a backpack, which you can only see if you really kind of squint at him.
hmm Yeah, I see the backpack. I can see the spade.
Mm-hmm. This thing, you can see the spade.
That's that's how you know it's there.
Yes, it is so blown out. And I mean, on the one hand, excellent goddamn camouflage, I guess. You can also see the guy firing a grease gun up near the top left-hand side of the picture. He's really difficult to make out too. You can't even see his pants because the darks are so dark and the lights are so light. Like, it's so wow,
Yeah,
washed out.
we had our artist here when we were talking about it, so we were actually like noticing all the color problems. And there's actually a lot with the Company Heroes 3, like overall color design. And I know it's like it's a little thing. Yeah, it's pre-alpha or whatever. The weapon effects are bad. The like explosion effects are bad. The traces are bad. These are things that can obviously be fixed and tweaked down the road. But it's important to point these things out because you need to, so that they can be fixed before the actual game's
Absolutely.
release.
They're literally asking for feedback with this alpha, so you got to point it out. And the saturation is a very big problem right now because it gives me actual headaches trying to play the game.
It's a bit too vibrant, and it's actually the color is actually ironically washed out, which is a shame. This is in Italy. It should be very vibrant and colorful in my opinion. And instead it's very sort of whitish. And again, I'll bring up that other previous image so you can get a feel for that. Where it's just kind of gray. Like there's
Mhm.
a gray
It's
gradient over it. Now they had that in the first one as well, but it wasn't even as strong there. Like it's much stronger here.
the contrasts were much greater in the first and the second one.
But this is good. We're complaining about this, and that's not that bad when you think about it. Now you played
No,
it,
there's
and I played it. What was your thoughts?
very underwhelming. Like I remember being kind of blown away both by CoH 1 and 2, and this game I'm just sitting there, I'm playing it, I'm like, yeah, this is Company Heroes, I guess.
It's got the stuff down. It feels like a Company Heroes game by and large when you play it. Um, but the problem I have is like I'm having a hard time seeing why should I care. Like there's British again, there's Americans again, there's Germans again,
Yes.
and it's more or less just Company Heroes again.
Yes.
And it's
Like
not that much
for
visually better than the previous one. So like why? The only thing different that I notice is verticality with the levels. You can see it on this Italian picture here. You can see like there's a little bit of elevation, but like even so, like that's not enough for me personally.
the verticality is very nice. I also like the idea of the breaching mechanic, though we will only figure out if that one's actually a good mechanic when they do PvP. Like that's something that has to be play tested a great deal because on the one hand, the ability to have lots of cool buildings on the map, like have building to building combat, and have buildings be a valuable part of the tactical picture is really cool. At the same time, having a magic button that instantly kills your entire squad because they managed to press a button on your building. eh,
Yeah, because I didn't like. I'm not a big fan of the breaching mechanic. Like I thought it would be like okay, the units have sort of like an RNG battle, and based on the unit type and the veterancy, that will help determine how they succeed in that operation. No, it just seems to be an instant win.
yes, it is. It
I
is
don't
an
like
instant win.
that. I don't like that because it's like it's just guaranteed.
There's two types of breaching. Apparently, there's the grenade breach, which evicts the squad inside with one model remaining, which is like, okay, I can kind of see that. You have a chance to retreat. Fair enough, kind of. And then there's the flamethrower breach, which simply just wipes the squad. Like they're dead.
Like certain buildings, I could see it. Like let's say an enclosed bunker, right? Flamethrowers would snuff out the oxygen. That was common. But if we're talking a building like these little Italian structures, or that church in the corner there, that would not be the case. That should
No.
not evict the entire building. Anybody on the ground floor is going to be in deep shit, but the guys in upstairs are going to be fine. I
I
don't.
would actually prefer a bit more of an actual breaching system where the units had a fight inside of the house and give the breachers an advantage, definitely. Because otherwise, why would you breach? Like, if it's just a unit v unit, you just put an elite squad in there and you win. But there should still be a fight in there. It should take a little while to resolve, and there should always be the option to bug out and retreat.
Yeah, for either party.
Yes.
Yeah, the breaching thing needs work. It's a good idea on paper and on concept, but it needs to be refined and improved. It's too linear a system.
Definitely. But it's I'm also been looking at the Steam forums, right? And there's a lot of people who kind of misunderstand what they're doing here. And they're looking at a pre-alpha preview and they're judging the game a bit harshly. I will say, and that's coming from me, who's usually like, I don't care. I don't care if your game is alpha or beta, because it's usually marketing footage, right? this is not marketing. Like, this is an actual, genuine pre-alpha. They don't even have all the icons in the game yet.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of
I really
placeholders.
think, yeah, we should be a bit patient with them now and be a little bit understand, like, okay, this is a pre-alpha. Here's our feedback. Provide them with all the feedback you can. Because there's a
Yes.
lot of people that I've seen have been very disappointed with this, and I get it because it is kind of underwhelming. Like,
But it's a pre-alpha, and it's a pre-alpha
yeah.
preview. And the thing I need to stress again, and actually their defense, which is weird because this is the same fucking company that gave us Dawn of War 3 and refused to acknowledge feedback. They're doing the right thing for a change here, and this
Yes.
needs to be pointed out. Relic is actually asking for your help with this game. Now, it's on them to actually listen. One of my biggest criticisms at the moment for this game actually stems not so much from the gameplay, but the lack of Italians on either side. Like,
Yeah, that's really disappointing because
this is Italy. Where are the Italians? If they DLC that, that's in my opinion that's unacceptable. This is the Italian theme. In fact, the base campaign should be about the Italians' perspective. It's Italy. It's this is like doing
we
the
need
Russian side,
more.
but without Russians.
We need more just factions. Like, the point of playing the Mediterranean was surely to add in different factions than just the Americans, the British, and the Germans.
Yeah, we've had them, okay? Like I don't mind having them again. In fact, I think they're a staple of the franchise, but give me the Italians. And then maybe as a bonus DLC, we get like, Greek reserves or something like that as just like a side thing or Hungarians as just
I
additional flavor.
really wouldn't mind because I think the way they're going with the like add-on units, the contingent, whatever they call them, that might be really cool. Like the idea of doing something a la Steel Division, where you can, before you get into battle, construct like a mini deck almost. Like, I want to bring these units, and I want to bring these call-ins, and I want to set up like 3 presets. Then I can choose the one I want in the battle.
Yeah.
Because then they could add in Italian units, Italian infantry squads, Bersaglieri or whatever the hell they're called, the Greek units, all that kind of stuff. It could be cool.
Mm. The criticism needs to be drawn towards the inaccuracy of the American units as well. The
I don't
Americans
know.
during this theater did not deploy mixed units. The Brazilians did, however. And this needs to be pointed out because the rocket troopers have mixed units when that's historically inaccurate.
Bazookas, yes.
Like, that did not actually happen. Now, the Brazilians, on the other hand, had Latinos, Caucasians, and blacks mixed in their troops. And I think some of the, if they include the African campaign, I remember, I believe a certain Axis regiment actually had mixed troops, or they had a black regiment, if I remember right. So the Axis should
What?
get some black troops as well, but like as a bonus call-in regiment or something like that.
Something like that. That could work. There,
Sort of
there
like
is,
colonial
there's a
troops.
lot of work to be done still, but hopefully it will be addressed and it will be engaged with. Now, I've also pointed out the awful splash screen, the goddamn loading screen, which looks like a cartoony, like Battlefield Heroes thing.
Yeah, it looks a little special. I mean, it's placeholder assets. See, I
Yes, I hope so.
understand that because my main menu for my game is literally just a bunch of text boxes, right? So I don't really blame them for that. They put on a little cute like art thing as like a little cover piece, but that main menu that that has to be changed later. That's
That
ugly
has to
looking.
be changed. It's really ugly and it's not COH in the slightest.
I actually wouldn't mind like an animated backdrop, sort of like Generals, where there's like a little bit of a battle going in the background. Give it a little bit of thematic to excite you
That
and
might
get
do.
you interested.
There's a long road ahead for Relic to give us the company of heroes we want and deserve, but they are doing the right thing, and they're doing the thing that Arch told them to do. Bring the community into the development of the next game, and like good boys and girls, they bent the knee and
Don't be
offered
mean.
their fealty to the Arch.
They do need to. This is actually a good move on them, and they do deserve praise for actually adhering to the community. Now, they did one step. Now is that they need to actually fucking follow through with that step. They need to not only
The
adhere
next
to the
step is
community,
to
but
see if they actually listen to the feedback. That's step 2.
because if they're as receptive as they are, like with a single player game, it wouldn't be as a big a deal. But Company Heroes centric like game span, its longevity, like is the multiplayer component. It's a
Yes.
massive part of the game.
Absolutely. But there it is, Company of Heroes 3. Let's be optimistic and yet also very, very cautious.